On tonight's Wales at 6, we're live with a special programme as Wales faces a massive test in their Euros campaign in Switzerland. It is now or never.
Yes, after losing to the Netherlands, Wales now face France. But can Rhian Wilkinson's side fight their way out of this group? I'll be live in there with all the latest.
And there'll be plenty of fans watching with hope and pride as Wales looks to leave a legacy in their first major tournament.
Also on the programme, learning to swim could save your life, but there's a warning tonight that without access to lessons, a growing number of children are leaving school without this vital skill. And the sun comes out as the world arrives in Llangollen for some musical magic.
Hello and good evening from a very sunny Llanrumney playing field in Cardiff, where lots of levels of the girls and ladies team, they're just getting underway with their training here this evening. Once the stomping ground of Wales's all-time top goal scorer, Jess Fishlock, of course. Tonight, I'm here with the next generation of female footballers ahead of tonight's crunch match in Cymru's Euros journey. There are just 2 hours to go. It's exciting, isn't it, until Rhian Wilkinson's squad take on a formidable French side. If they lose tonight, it will likely spell the end of this whirlwind tournament for Wales, following a 3-0 defeat to the Netherlands at the end of last week. But whilst they may be the underdogs, Wilkinson insists her team are not there just to make up the numbers. Well, as the squad prepare for perhaps the most important game of their careers, we are live in Switzerland and elsewhere in Wales as fans begin to gather and excitement, of course, builds. First to St Gallen in Switzerland and to Matt, who's in the stadium there. Good evening to you, Matt. It does not get much bigger than this for Wales, does it?
No, it certainly doesn't, Andrea. Wales arrive here knowing that in all probability they're going to need to win to extend their stay here in Switzerland. The roadshow has rolled on to St Gallen. Now, there aren't as many Welsh fans here as there were in Lucerne, but that number is still in the thousands. And earlier on in the city, the atmosphere was bubbling nicely.
Yay, go on, girls, good luck.
Soaking up the sun in St Gallen. Welsh fans have taken over a second Swiss city, determined to make the most of this special campaign, young and old. And whilst defeat to the Netherlands on Saturday was disappointing, spirits could not be higher.
Mega excited. The 4 of us are so excited to get out here and get amongst all the Welsh fans, yes.
Really excited. It's just, you just wasn't expecting it all to be so good, especially in Lucerne. It was just amazing. The fan walk was just like next level. It was so good.
We've completely taken over. I think we're outnumbering the French at least 20-1 at the moment. Yeah, we've taken over the city.
We've had our bucket hats on since we arrived, and in fairness, whenever we've seen somebody else with a Welsh hat on, we've all acknowledged each other, which is really nice. We thought we were buying lemonade, and we've actually bought lemon iced tea. So yeah, it doesn't go as well with the gin, I must admit.
Regardless of results on the field, this is a watershed moment for women's football in Wales. Fans have travelled in record numbers, and the next generation are finally seeing their heroes on the big stage.
It's absolutely amazing. Like 10 years ago you wouldn't have seen any of this, like there wouldn't have been any fans, but now it's amazing how many people are coming out and supporting them, and it's just brilliant to be able to see them, and it's really inspiring to play football back home in Wales, to be able to come out and see where you can go and what you can achieve.
Wales might be a long way from home, but once again the red wall has travelled in numbers. Thousands of fans are here in St Gallen for the game this afternoon, and among them are some of the trailblazers who paved the way for Rhian Wilkinson's side to reach this stage. When these women represented their country, things looked very different.
Our kit was fairly poor in those days.
and we had to pay our own expenses. I remember getting a letter saying I'd been selected for the Ireland game and asking for a £20 contribution towards the travel costs. And this is around about 1974-75. You know, so things have changed an awful lot from those early days.
I mean, as soon as that national anthem goes on, it's so, you know, that's so powerful. I mean, I still get emotional today. So them girls have got to do their stuff for Wales for the future as well, and that's what they've got to do for us.
So as the Red Dragon flies in the city centre, Wales know that they must find a big performance if they're to extend their stay in Switzerland.
Come on, Cymru! Wales! Wales!
And they need to find it fast, because time is running out. Well, joining me now is former Wales international Nia Jones. Nia, obviously a big defeat on Saturday, but what are the thoughts heading into this one against France?
I think actually the momentous occasion of Saturday, it being the first ever match at a major tournament, will have weighed heavily on the players. If they're honest with themselves, probably after the tournament, it probably was a little bit of a distraction for them, but that's all gone now, and actually simply tonight they have to get a result if they want this amazing dream to continue. And
what areas of the field and what areas of the game do Wales really need to be strong in to get a result here tonight?
I think France were frightening the other night when they got their victory against the Lionesses, the holders, and they did that because they set up some really clever traps on their press, really drew the Lionesses into some sloppy passes. So Wales's passing quality and completion has to be really high tonight, and they have to be alert to those really fast transitions from the French. They've got some really potent forwards, but also when they do win the ball back, Wales, which they will, they have to be braver and committing more bodies up into the opposition box.
Yeah, because we want to see them causing problems in the other half of the field as well as dealing with what France have got.
Exactly that, and this, you know, as amazing as the Red Wall have been, they're here to see their team perform on the biggest stage. They want to show the brand of Welsh football that's made us fall in love with this team over the last few years, and that is by damaging teams and hurting top teams. And we saw it out in Gothenburg. We more than at that point against Sweden, who are a top team, by actually playing our way through them and creating opportunity. So they'll take confidence from that.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously we know yesterday that the team bus was involved in a road traffic collision on the way to training. Thankfully, everybody involved was unharmed, but that was disruptive, difficult afternoon for the players. What's it like for them to be going through something like that so close to a big game?
Yeah, it's less than ideal because match day -1, which is the day before the game, you really look forward to that session because it's usually not so tiresome. You do some fun little games against each other, lots of shooting, lots of touches on the ball, and you do it in the match stadium to get a feel for what it's going to be like. You have a look at the changing room, and it just helps you with that prep and that visualisation. They didn't get a chance to feel the surface yesterday, and France did. So what was good, though, is everybody involved is okay. They did manage to get a training session in last night, and they won't use that as a distraction going into it, I don't think.
Yeah, and that's where the senior players come into it as well, isn't it? There's a lot of youngsters in this side, but obviously you've got Angharad James, Jess Fishlock, Sophie Ingle, of course, and others who have been around the block for a while and will be guiding this young side through something like that.
Yeah, it's massive, and they spoke this week, Jess Fishlock and Angharad James, about they didn't enjoy that result against the Netherlands. They weren't just happy to be there. They really do want to put on their show for the Welsh fans and actually to prove to everybody else around Europe that we absolutely deserve to be here. So they openly said they weren't happy with their own individual performances, and people will be looking at them around the changing room today, and that will give you confidence knowing you've got James on your team, Fishlock on the team, but they need to step up tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And just lastly, before I let you go, a prediction then for tonight. It's going to be tough for Wales, but can they get something?
I think they can. The conditions are much easier to play in tonight. It's about 15 degrees cooler than it was the other night. They've never beaten a top 10 nation, and France are 10th. It would be miraculous if they were to get a win tonight, but a draw would keep them right in it.
Well, Nia, thank you very much for your time. We'll let you get into your commentary position. You're part of the ITV sport coverage tonight. Andrea, that's the mood here in Switzerland. What's the mood like back home?
Oh, the mood is very excitable, Matt. Let's hope that the predictions there are the right ones. As you've just been hearing, there are Wales who are determined, and the excitement is definitely building. Well, they're going to inspire a new generation of footballers anyway. We're here on the grounds here with Llanrumney under-11s. I'm going to speak to some of the girls here because, of course, the Wales women's team are making history in their first tournament, so how are they inspiring the ones who are playing now? I'm going to interrupt them, actually, even though they're very focused on their football at the moment. I've got Ava, Belle and Amelia here. Football's flying everywhere at the moment. So, Ava, how is it for you playing football here tonight, knowing that later on the Wales women are going to be taking on one of their biggest matches?
I think they just need to keep their heads up. I think it's going to be really good, to be honest. They need to keep their heads up and just keep on going.
And it's making you play better. You told me that earlier, isn't it? And Belle, what do you think about it? What's it doing in Clanrumney here to inspire you? Because you've got the home of Jess Fishlock, haven't you?
It's inspiring us to play on and to be more passionate about football, and more girls will be joining because of Jess Fishlock and the women's team. So I think it's really inspired me, and I'm really happy I chose to play football.
It's growing all the time, isn't it? And how about you, Amelia? What makes it so special for you at the moment?
So basically, Jess Fishlock is basically inspiring lots of people. So that's getting lots of girls to play, because some of the boys everywhere don't really say girls can't play football, but look at Jess Fishlock now.
And look at all of you as well. Thank you very much, all of you. We're going to go over here now to the person who's coaching these. Sophie, good evening to you. What do you do to keep that momentum going? It's great at the moment, isn't it? We've got the girls out in Switzerland, but how do you keep that going for them?
So it's all about just basically keeping them inspired. They're watching the Wales women all the time. Every time they come to training, they always talk about them. They're very much looking forward to the game tonight and the game on Sunday. But it's just basically keeping them entertained when they come into training, making sure they're having a bit of fun as well.
But for you, there's a great future on the cards for Wales football for women.
Yes.
And thank you very much for being part of it and speaking to us this evening. Thank you. And Drew over here, moving around here, you're part of kind of spotting people, aren't you, who might pass through that pathway into the elite side of the sport for women, and that's changing all the time, isn't it?
Yeah, so we run obviously youth national teams underneath the senior women's, and that's supported by our girls regional programme, both in South Wales and North Wales, and below that we have a girls regional pre-academy, which is for talented players between 9 and 12, which is what we have here tonight.
And particularly over the last few years, where excitement in the game as a whole for women across the UK and in Wales has been boosted. What have you seen in terms of what you've seen in these training sessions and the talent you're seeing coming through?
Yeah, so the participation numbers obviously growing tremendously in women's football, which is, obviously in no small part due to Rian and the girls' success on the international stage. So we're hopeful that we can capitalise and make a legacy off that, and make sure that our infrastructure continues to support both those who want to participate purely for enjoyment and those that have aspirations to be the next Jess Fishlock.
We look forward to seeing some of these we've seen tonight maybe going up the ranks, and you're wrapping up training in time to watch the game this evening?
Yeah, absolutely. Watch a win. Yeah.
Very exciting. A win. We're going to get a win. There we go. Well, there's going to be people watching all over Wales this evening, of course, and I know that Carol Green is in Gwynedd for us tonight, where she's got more people gathering and lots of people just waiting for kick-off at 8 o'clock. Carol.
Atmosphere is building here with just 2 hours to kick off. I'm at Neuadd Ogwen in Bethesda, and the stage is literally set for the big game, and some music too. Abby, you've been in charge of organising this watch party. The doors aren't open just yet, but is there excitement in the local community?
Yes, there definitely is, especially coming back from a couple of weeks ago where the team was being announced on the top of a Wyddfa, and then obviously we had Rhian Wilkinson here on the stage doing a Q&A afterwards. So the excitement's definitely been brewing. I'm sure all the young girls in particular are very, very excited, and yeah, come kick off, the atmosphere is going to be great, I think.
To what extent do you think the Welsh women qualifying for this has boosted, the profile and the interest in the girls' game locally here in Bethesda?
Yeah, it definitely has. We've got a couple girls' teams, a couple football teams, also just school teams. As a little girl, I used to play football, but I never thought it was I couldn't do anything with it. I could never play professionally. So it's definitely really fun, really great to see the girls going for it, and finally in a major tournament like the Euros. So I'm sure everyone's buzzing, as everyone will be here later.
Have you got nerves for tonight? Because it's a big ask, isn't it?
Yes, it definitely is. So just to get the crowd going a bit before, we have got live music coming on. So we've got Mary Mathias performing in about 15-20 minutes just before kick-off at 8. And then we'll be doing everything again on Sunday before the game against England with Cordia performing.
So basically a great combo, always music and sport. Have you got any predictions for the score, or are you a little bit superstitious?
Yeah, I don't want to jinx it, but we'll do great. I'm sure we'll do great. Maybe a 2-1 to us, hopefully.
Gobeithio, fingers crossed. Well, with kick-off around the corner, all that's left for us to say here is, come on, Cymru. We're right behind you from Bethesda.
Carol in Bethesda, thank you very much indeed, as are we. Well, not long to go now before Wales take to the pitch in the Euros, and they will be cheered on in Switzerland by some of the women who helped shape the sport. You can hear more about those trailblazers in a special feature which you can find on ITVX on your phone or your smart TV. But for now, that's all from us in Llanrumney. We'll be back at the end of the programme, but with the rest of the day's news, let's head back to the studio and to John.
Andrea, thanks very much indeed. Good evening. Bristol Airport has launched a legal challenge over the Welsh Government's plans to subsidise Cardiff Airport. The capital's airport is set to receive up to £206 million over the next 10 years, which Bristol Airport says has the potential to distort competition. The Welsh Government says the funding will improve services and it will defend this legal challenge. A Swansea County Councillor has appeared in court today charged with an historical rape. Peter May represents the Uplands ward on Swansea Council. The charge is in relation to an alleged incident involving a woman in the early 1990s. He spoke only to confirm his identity and no plea has been entered. A man has been arrested on suspicion of fraud following an investigation into fake ticket sales for the recent Oasis concerts in Cardiff. David Powys police say the 42-year-old man has been bailed pending further inquiries. Tens of thousands of children are leaving primary school without being able to swim, with many of those struggling to even access lessons. The sport's national governing body says teaching the life-saving skill is one of their main priorities, with drowning one of the most common causes of accidental death among children. Megan Boot reports.
There she goes. She's off.
This is Ada. She's 8 years old and she loves to swim.
I like swimming lessons because I like having my goggles, my bathers, and my swimming teacher, James.
Nice.
I really like it because it's super fun, because I need to stay healthy, and swimming makes you very strong.
It's amazing. To think that literally just over 2 years ago, this was a child that could not swim at all.
But finding lessons hasn't been easy.
We have had such a poor experience when it comes to us trying to access swimming lessons. I think it was definitely at least 2 schools that had turned her away, and we'd had a little trial session with them, and they just basically told her that they couldn't teach her.
Ada has a suspected mix of autism and ADHD. She can be easily distracted and can find coordination tricky.
You see these fingertips down there? We want to try and go into the water with those fingertips first. Pierce a hole in the water.
Her coach James gets emails virtually every day from families looking for lessons for children with additional needs.
And I think it's just having a kind of a willingness to adapt your own personal style to the children. And when they come into you, getting to know them as individuals and then adapting what you do to suit what they need.
The Welsh Government do fund some free swimming lessons, and it falls to the sport's national governing body, Swim Wales, to help implement these alongside local authorities.
So is there a particular issue with children with additional learning needs getting a swimming lesson?
So there's a challenge for all children accessing Learn to Swim. So that's why we need to ensure that all children have the opportunity to access Learn to Swim lessons, whether that's at their local pool or through their school. Tragically, drowning is the second most common cause of accidental death in children in Wales. So that's why we're working with Welsh Government and our local providers to ensure that this opportunity is available for all children. We've also got some bespoke training that we deliver for our providers to ensure that teachers are equipped to deal with children with autism and additional learning needs.
The organisation estimates that each year potentially 30,000 children are leaving primary school unable to swim. A skill that Ada loves, a skill that keeps her safe. Megan Boot, ITV News.
Next, 4,000 competitors have descended on beautiful Llangollen to take part in the annual International Eisteddfod. Wednesday marks the busiest day at the festival, with 35 countries taking part in the Parade of Nations. But there's been a change to the schedule tonight, and a gig that hundreds were due to attend has been cancelled, sadly. Well, Rob Shelley is there for us now. Rob, but tell us more, Rob.
Well, yeah, people basically have been heading to the exits. What's just been described, it came on the tannoy at about 6:10. So someone describing it as an extraordinary medical eventuality, basically. Something has happened that's led the festival organisers here to take the advice from the emergency services and basically have to cancel tonight's concert. And for an awful lot of people, as you were saying, John, it's a tremendous shame. This was meant to be a concert featuring Carl Jenkins, who would have been conducting his own One World composition. It was meant to celebrate the 80th anniversary of the United Nations. And so, you know, obviously an awful lot of disappointed people. But that phrase, United Nations, is what this is all about. Because I'm not sure whether this is a small, big field and a small world, or a big world who just manages to find their way here, simply because it started off in 1947 as an institution with just 7 countries competing, and since then it's grown a bit. Wandering around the field here today, and it's such a shame that it's ended like this right now, it's like flicking around the dial of a radio. You're hearing so many voices, so much music, and I was lucky enough to talk to people to ask, what is it about that magic, that lure of Llangollen?
Present something that we learn and share it with everyone, finding the bridge to kind of build it with the Welsh culture, mythology, the poetry. I think that's been a great learning experience, and also the joy of sharing.
It's a global platform where different nations globally come together in a very peaceful environment. The peace, the joy, it's just amazing.
Of course, today has been the parade where you see just about all of the competitors. And I say competitors because it is a nice Eisteddfod. People are competing to win their categories. But actually, it's more than that. It's people from 10,000 miles away taking each other's cultures back with them. So I know for the organisers here, the hope will be very much that the schedule goes as planned from tomorrow onwards. Awful lot of people feeling slightly disappointed tonight that tonight's concert hasn't happened. But nevertheless, Llangollen's a good institution. It's been here for almost 80 years. It goes on.
Things improve. Rob, thanks very much indeed. The time now is 22 minutes past 6. Time for a look at what's ahead on the ITV Evening News.
Coming up on the programme, a new report finds the victims of the infected blood scandal have been harmed further by delays in compensation. Red Bull team principal Christian Horner has been sacked after 20 years. And England and Wales both fight to keep their places in the Euros in Switzerland tonight. Join me for those stories and more at 6:30.
And that's after this news. Those are the headlines, but let's head back now to Andrea, who's still in Llanrumney in Cardiff for us this evening. Andrea.
John, yes, I am here, but by a very special wall that's just outside of the training ground. As you heard from some of the under-11 girls I've been speaking to, it's this lady, the most experienced player on the team, who is going to be on the name on everyone's lips this evening. She's got the hopes of a nation and definitely a community here riding on her shoulders as they go into that match with France tonight. Hopefully those goal-scoring records can boost her this evening, and she can get some past the French side to avoid elimination later on. Well, Matt in Switzerland, in St Gallen, is the man who might be able to give us a bit more background on that. Matt, what do you think, as you assess tonight's chances, what do you think their hopes are for Wales this evening? Well, we haven't got Matt in St Gallen at the moment. Let's hope we can go back to Switzerland shortly. Now, from what I've seen here this evening, it's been quite inspiring actually, because we had the whole pitch here in Llanrumney. We'll just see if we can take you back here around onto the pitch now. They're just wrapping up. You can see all the parents lined up against the side of the training ground here. They're excited for the match, and they're also excited for their children, who might be the next generation of Wales players, to be playing for Wales as we go forward. You heard about the Elite Academy that they've got in Wales, and it's going to produce those who are now being inspired by the likes of Jess Fishlock, by the likes of Angharad James. They're going to be out there tonight doing all that they can for Wales. We've not only got the under-11s who you saw earlier, but playing here now is the development side for Wales as well, practicing, and the ladies team for Llanrumney. And you've just got the feeling, haven't you, that something special is happening for girls and ladies football in Wales. So we're looking forward to 8 p.m. tonight to see what can be done. But whatever happens, they have written their place in those history books. And tonight we will see in the late bulletin what the update is, and just keep our fingers crossed that it's a good result. Good night.
Today's forecast: blue skies, followed by a spread of hot and cold plates. TUI sponsors ITV Cymru Wales weather.
Well, I certainly do hope you enjoyed this Wednesday, the 9th of July. A little bit more in the way of cloud, but it was broken, allowing decent spells of sunshine to come through. Our weather story really is about the temperatures, as it's turning hotter as we head into the next couple of days, which brings us to the heat wave criteria. For us, it's got to be 25 degrees, elsewhere 26, 27, but for us, 25 degrees or more for 3 consecutive days, and we certainly will see that. As we push forward to the next couple of days, this is a jet stream. It does buckle by the time we get towards Sunday, but it still acts like a blocking high, stopping frontal systems from sweeping in our direction. So over the course of tonight, where those skies start to clear, we'll see some patchy mist and murk starting to appear, but again, nothing too problematic, nothing too dense. Temperatures down to around 9 degrees is what we've got, but outside of that, we could see temperatures fall down to 15. So depending on where you are, a fresher feel or a bit of a humid night. So ultimately, when we wake up tomorrow morning, that mist burns away by 8 o'clock in the morning, and it leaves us with another stunning day. Plenty in the way of sunshine throughout the morning and into the afternoon as the winds fall light. Temperatures maxing out at 27, but it's always going to be a little bit cooler if you live towards the coast with that sea breeze coming through. Push forward into the next couple of days. We are talking Friday, Saturday and Sunday, because those days are fairly similar. You can actually see the high pressure is centred across our patch, which gives us temperatures climbing into the high 20s. We could even squeeze out 28 or 29 degrees. I will leave you with the summary. When it comes to golden medallions, they are with us Thursday, Friday, Saturday and, dare I say, Sunday too. Enjoy.
TUI sponsors ITV Cymru Wales weather. Making the most of summer. Piri sponsors ITV pollen count.
And when it comes to the pollen count, if you do suffer from allergies, the next 3 days you're probably not looking forward to, with all that heat being pumped into the ground. It's not great. Thursday, Friday and Saturday, the count is very high.